Ghana has positioned itself as the shining example for the rest of the African continent when it comes to the application of science and technology to agricultural production. The nation has major research institutions like the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, and departments of agriculture at major universities like the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the University of Ghana, and the University for Development Studies that are working to improve crops for the benefit of the general populace.
Having worked closely with a research center, because I've been with the Pom Agricultural Research Center of the University of Ghana for the past 30 years or more when Dr. Ting was there. So when I go there, I'm very inspired about the work that they do, how they have the patience, how to monitor the plant growth and compare and do all those sort of things. And also on-farm trials, adaptive trials that has happened over this place. So I think that before a decision is taken, they do a lot of comparisons. They collect a lot of data in order to come out that this particular variety will bring income to farmers. It meets the taste, the nutritional decision of farmers. So I'm far convinced that agriculture would move a way forward when we work closely with agriculture research officers. And that is what somebody should go and do the research and give the research findings to me so I can multiply on my farm and get the best out of it. Get my money, the consumer also gets his best. Whether it is nutritional, that is what they want. I want my yield, and I get, maybe if I'm getting about 5 tons per hectare now, I should be able to get 8 to 10 tons.
In furtherance of this effort to improve agriculture through science and technology, Ghana's Parliament in 2011 passed the National Biosafety Act, which was subsequently assented by then-President John Mills. The law allows for the application of biotechnology tools, including genetically modified organism technology, to food production in the country.
The authority was established legally in 2011, but implemented effectively in 2015. And as soon as it was established legally, in 2012, the then Biosafety Committee gave 2 approvals for research on genetically modified organisms. They were the newest rice and the BT cowpea. And the permits were given to the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. So that has been the activities on the ground. And the research is going on, as I've said, and the Biosafety Authority has been monitoring and inspecting it.
Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are crops that have had their seeds imbibed with genes from other living organisms to improve upon them. Among others, GM crops have been developed to resist pest attack, have climate-resilient traits, and be more nutritious. CSIR scientists are currently conducting trials on GM newest rice, which are fertilizer and nitrogen use efficient, water use efficient, and also salt tolerant. They have also developed GM cowpea, popularly known as the pod borer resistant cowpea or the BT cowpea, which is resistant to the deadly Maruca pest.
Cowpea, that is what we popularly call beans. If you talk of your red, it's made from cowpea, which everyone calls beans. Most of us are excited to see it in our dishes, but we don't know the hassle our farmers go through to produce this particular crop. Apart from cotton, cowpea is one of the crops that is loved by insects. So right from the time you plant it on the field to the time you harvest, and for those of you who have bought it and tried to store it, even in storage, this particular crop is loved by insects.
Cowpea, also known as beans, is a popular protein-rich crop eaten by millions in Ghana. It is served as Gary and beans, popularly known as red, but it's very vulnerable to the Maruca pod borer pest, which can destroy between 80 and 100% of the farmer's field. To control the pest, farmers typically spray their fields with pesticides between 8 and 12 times in the 12-week life cycle of the crop. farmers are frustrated by this.
I lost a cases doctor to insecticide. The farmer went to the farm, came back, and actually didn't store the remaining pesticides that he brought from the farm. So this little girl took it and drank it and died. It became something that I've been pondering over, and I was that girl could have been a lawyer or a doctor. And I was very saddened by that.
It has been very difficult to control this pest because it has a cryptic feeding habit, and you can get, very drastic reduce in your yield.
At a very young age, the pest causes destruction to the plant. They bore holes in the plant. It's a very dangerous pest. We spray them every week for 3 months. That's 12 times of spraying every season.
I have grown up in this area as a young man, as a small boy, staying with my uncle, and I've known most of my direct relatives who have been spraying for people. And the circumstances under which they became sick and died was quite suspicious, because those days we believed that human beings do not die. God doesn't take people away. It is the evil forces. So when I remember some of my few cases who were spraying, one Obome, one Okoto, who were spraying for people. They carried the knapsack without any protective clothing. And as I grew and I tried to extend the scope of my knowledge to understand how these pesticides actually work, I knew that gradually they bioaccumulated those pesticides in them. And I noticed that maybe their death was not, after all, the evil forces or the witches that we had in our family that killed them. It was these pesticides, because they were not wearing protective clothing. And also, I remember my senior brother who passed on quite recently would mix the chemical in the bucket or in a knapsack and dip his hand into and test it and see whether it was very strong enough.
The Savannah Agricultural Research Institute of the CSIR has for almost a decade now been developing the GM cowpea variety. The GM cowpea variety includes a gene from a naturally occurring soil bacterium known as Bt, which is resistant to pests. Confined field trials have shown that farmers can reduce their spraying regime to just twice per season while gaining a 5-fold increase in the yield.
This pest is easily killed by a microbial pesticide that is commonly used on our market. So this microbial pesticide is obtained from a bacterium that we call Bacillus thuringiensis, the short form of which we call Bt. So what scientists were able to do with the help of biotechnology tools was to find out what in this Bt is able to help control this particular pest and pests that are similar to it. They identified a particular gene in it, picked it, and it was introduced into crops. Cowpea is one of them.
Farmers who have had the opportunity to plant the GM cowpea as part of trials are excited about the variety.
The insect infestation is less with the Bt. The Bt varieties yield a lot more than the local varieties we have. We observe that if we use the Bt cowpea, we'll have more money to feed our children because the yield at the trials was very good.
The one with Bt gene could give us up to 1,300 kilos per hectare if you calculate. But the one without the Bt gene gave us only 74.1 kg per hectare.
Support for the development of the GM cowpea variety comes from the African Agricultural Technology Foundation.
Ghana, for a Bt crop, for GMO crops, you need to get the environmental release permits. So we are working on to obtain the environmental release permits. When you get it, you can get outside the confined environment where you are doing the research. And we will do what is called national variety performance trials, which allow the national seed variety release committee to release that variety officially to the farmers. So there are two steps to get the environmental release, and our dossier has been ready. It is with the National Biosafety Agency Authority of Ghana. So we are waiting for the time when we will get the environmental release permits.
The how soon has always been the question, because it is a process. We don't want to jump the gun. So we are going through the process step by step to ensure that we follow all the procedure, all the processes, so that the law will be strictly adhered to. And then once the product is out, we'll give it. It is better for us to take our time and bring the product out than to rush and bring the product out and later on have problems like it has happened in some other countries. If you do that, what happens is that people will say that the product is not good, it's not this, but it's just because maybe the scientist did not do what was expected, did not get to where he should get to before he released.
Eric Okori, who is Chief Executive Officer of the state GMO regulator, the National Biosafety Authority, says the appropriate structures are in place to help ensure that the GM crops benefit Ghanaian farmers and Ghanaian consumers.
The biosafety law is so fair to the public. The law is very, very fair. It says that whenever the Biosafety Authority receives an application intending to release GMOs into the environment, the authority should inform the public that we have received such an application, and that opens the door for all parties, including food sovereignty, to come and pick a copy of the application, go and study it, and identify whatever will give the cause for any harm, and let us know. You see, so when we receive an application, a group like Food Sovereignty and other organizations which are against the release of GMOs have the right under law to come to our office, contact us, or even if they don't come, we will send it to them to look at it and identify any cause of harm in that introduction, let the board of the authority know, so that in their consideration of approval or otherwise, that will be considered. Now Ghana has a law in place to regulate GMOs. An authority has been established to regulate GMOs, and our aim is to ensure safety of health and environment. And when that is done, all the benefits that we have in GMOs will be realized.
Find out about the products, whether they have foreign DNAs or not. If they have, what will be the effect? What is the extent? And then, that gives an assurance to those who are going to consume. And by that, they are able to certify whether this product is wholesome or not.
People must read on it and know that, so that they decide if they still have fear for a GMO, they decide. Even when you go to Europe, you could have organic session, GMOs. So you decide which one you want to buy. So certainly the law makes provision for that.
Let's face it, it's only recently that we do not face famine. But if you are hungry, who cares about GMOs?
Ghana is not the first country to grow GM cowpea. Nigeria was, and farmers there say they have seen less pest damage in their fields compared to when they grew conventional varieties, thereby increasing their yields. They are also reporting higher profits because of the better yields and reduced investments in costly pesticides. The new variety has reduced pesticide use from 8 sprays per season to just 2.
My name is Jamil Muhammad Ahmad. I've been farming coffee in the past 25 years, and I have not had any good experience as such of PBR. With no or at least one spray, it gives a very reasonable output. This gives more yield, honestly speaking, with less input. In fact, if this thing is available in a large scale amount, I assure you that more than 70% of the farmers will divert to production of PBR coffee.
My name is Usman Yahya Al-Hassan. Last year, we have farmed the PBR coffee and we get the 17 bags. Last 2 years, we have farmed the other coffees. We get the 11 bags.
My name is Dabo Umar Lolo. I started farming after 35 years ago. This coffee, we farm it this season, we get more money after 20,000. It's better than any coffee. So many people are asking, how do you get this coffee?
The GM beans, you spray less than how we spray the other varieties. And with that, you spend less labor or buying chemicals to spray. So that's why we are trying to fall in love with the GM beans. But the other beans, like even this some P8, you spray up to 8 times.
The farmers love it. There is not a single farmer which has seen the crop and who didn't like it. Since last year, we get more than 1 million demands of cowpea seed from farmers.
Generally, if 1 million hectares is planted to this new variety, we estimated that Nigeria is bound to save more than 16 billion naira in terms of savings from insecticides alone. And the benefit, with a margin of say 20% yield advantage, farmers are going to make the economic benefit of around 46 billion naira annually. So the economic benefit is very huge.
Last year, there was a climate problem. The rain stopped earlier than the previous year. And the absence of that dew made most cowpea farms didn't do well. If you observe, for the first time this year, cowpea was sold at 40-something thousand per bag. Currently, as I speak, just yesterday, cowpea was sold at 56,000 per bag. Why? Because the cowpea last year didn't do well, because of that lack of moisture, lack of dew. But this cowpea now, the BT cowpea, in spite of that challenge, did well.
The PBR cowpea, it has about 3 to 4 fold yield increase over the standard check. If it's produced a lot, maybe even the price may relatively come down.
It will really transform Nigeria's agricultural sector because that protection that the gene gives to the crop, of course, prevents it from being destroyed. And so it translates into high yield.
Nigerian scientist Professor Mohammed Ishiyaku, who led the development of the GM cowpea variety, is urging Ghana to follow Nigeria's example.
It is getting too late. It is high time for Ghana and other countries to hasten the process of ensuring that this seed gets into the hands of their farmers, for them to be able to unlock the benefit there is in this new variety. It is highly beneficial, not only in terms of productivity, but it reduces the use of harmful insecticides in our environment. And therefore, they should quickly hasten to complete this process.
All the evidences are there, with the evidences they have and they should use Nigeria as, as an example, as a model. Look at us as a model, how we made it to where we are today.
You also need courage to be able to take the right decision without being afraid, because from what is going on in Africa, particularly in the West African sub-region, there are lots of intimidation on the part of the anti-GM groups. But I think once you have the knowledge and you have the knowledge and also have the courage, you can take your decision. And particularly when you have scientific evidence.
There is currently an application before the National Biosafety Authority for the environmental release of Ghana's first GM cowpea. Approval for the variety is expected before the end of the year. Scientists are urging the public to rally and support the approval of this variety.
The conclusion would be that smallholder farmers in Africa need access to biotech crops more than farmers anywhere in the world. And the time has come for African governments to use the data available to take decisions that will improve livelihoods and lift millions out of poverty and hunger. What we need is political will. We need swift and innovative action.